Do not forget to like, comment, subscribe.
And our topic today is abortion and women's rights.
The real question is, for state intervention or against?
So we have two highly qualified groups of students from the Feminist Student Alliance.
Just a moment, then just feminists are in favor of abortion?
We have Shauna Boston and Becky Fernandez. You guys would like to introduce yourselves?
Hi, I'm Becky, I'm president.
Hi, I'm Shauna, I'm vice president.
And Feminist Student Alliance engages students to promote gender equality.
Let me stop you here. The word feminist includes only the female sex, fem. There is no representation in this word for men or all the invented species of the day. Feminists come to give women rights. It never fought to give equal rights to men, to protect the right of the man to the children or to equal the man over the property with the woman making more money than the man, and always silencing what the man is going through in life. At least be real with what you stand for.
The Feminist Student Alliance believes that all reproductive decisions and choices lie between human beings and their own selves, or their doctors, whether it be contraception, abortion, or more.
So I have the right to any kind of weapon I want? Or you mean the rights you decide to give?
And from Ratio Christi, we have Emma Hilton and Lexi Georgeson.
Hi, I'm Emma Hilton. I'm the president of Ratio Christi. Ratio Christi is a Christian apologetic.
First of all, why do you put religion into the subject? Do you think that only religious people are against abortion? And why is the word apologizing here? You apologize for what?
Group that uses things like reason, logic, science, and history to look at our Christian beliefs, look at Christianity, and also look at other religions and other worldviews.
Bullshit. First of all, you cannot even check your own religion because what you read and learn is called a version, so you do not even learn the source. We'll see it later, and you cannot speak in the name of the other religions.
My name is Lexi Georgeson. I'm also part of Ratio Christi. I am the communication coordinator. And we came today as feminists. We believe that men and women should have equal rights and opportunities. We are feminists that want to protect women in the womb as well as outside of the womb.
As I said before, feminism has nothing to do with men's rights, and the fact that religion does protect the rights of women, do not erase the fact women are governed by the men. So if you are religious, you cannot choose what to accept in the Bible and what not.
So I guess we'll start with the Feminist Student Alliance. I think the most important starting point in this debate is to come to terms on what we think life is when we're talking about this. So I guess I would start there and ask you guys, what do you define as life?
Well, the scientific community, they don't necessarily have a strict definition for when life begins.
Just a moment, stop. This is a retarded question. The sperm in the man, the egg in the woman, both alive, every cell is alive. It is a question that people who do not know what they are talking about ask, or people who want to say that there is no value to life. The real question is, when is the life of human being begin?
People have their own moral definition, like life begins when...
There is nothing moral about this question. It is a scientific question. The moral question is whether we will kill it or not, and until when we can kill it.
Man and woman get together and do whatever, but if you look at it from that perspective, is a zygote really living? Is it breathing? Can it survive on its own?
What is the only organ in your body that tells you that you are alive? What is the organ that tells you to breathe? Or tell you something hurts?
We don't believe that it's a viable offspring.
The question was whether he is alive, not if you think he's an offspring or not.
Would you like to respond, Richard?
I would. I'd like to bring out the point of life, what we believe life is. I'm going to read from Clinically Oriented Embryology, Developing Humans, 7th edition. It says that a zygote is the result of an oocyte, a sperm cell, during fertilization come together. And this marks the beginning of each of us as a unique individual. This is not a biased text by any means towards any morality. It's just a scientific textbook. I also have Peter Singer, Practical Ethics. He says that in this sense, there's no doubt that from the first moment of its existence, an embryo conceived from human sperm and human egg is a human being and life.
No, there is a difference between life and human life. Cancer in the body has a life. Human life is when there is a brain that controls all the organs.
Okay, well, I'd like to comment that I think that there are a lot of lives that need to come into consideration when we talk about life. There's a life of the woman who finds herself pregnant and where she is in her life and what, circumstance she is in, whether she just doesn't want to have a baby.
If we say it's a human life, but because she is not in the right place in life to accept him she can kill him, it means that she can kill him at every stage of his life as long as he is under her control, no matter how old the child is.
Whether she's been raped or medical circumstances where she might not want to have that baby, and also the life of what happens to this baby after it's brought to full term and it's a baby that couldn't be afforded or wasn't wanted.
That's one of the stupid reasons I hear all the time. Have you heard of adoption? If this is your reason, you have nothing to stand on.
So, Ratio Christie, do you guys believe that a miscarriage would also constitute a loss of life?
Yes, definitely, because we're going at it with the premise that the unborn is a human being. So in the case of a miscarriage, that is something that happens naturally inside the woman's womb, but that would be a loss of life because that is a fetus that we believe is human and it is alive. So obviously that is a loss of life there.
If it's a human being, does he deserve all the rights as any other person? Should the state pay him like they pay for a baby after he goes out into the world? Should the laws against a parent endanger his children will be on him too? Can we demand from the parent not to do things that endanger the fetus? Like drinking alcohol or smoking or participating in anything we forbid children to do. After all, he is a human being, and because he is in the parent's belly what the parent does, he does.
Okay.
So is a woman who has a miscarriage held accountable for that?
When a child dies natural death, are parents responsible? What a stupid question, you're not helping yourselves.
In no way, because it's natural, and miscarriages unfortunately are a common occurrence in some cases, and so it happens. It's very sad and it's very traumatic, but it happens.
Okay, well, wouldn't it be maybe sad and just a traumatic happening if a woman decides to have an abortion?
Let's see, the child died a natural death compared to the mother killing him. Are you serious?
That's just the point that she makes in her life and decisions she makes, and it might just be something that happens, but it doesn't really affect anyone except her moral system, her doctor maybe.
You lost the argument as soon as you accepted that he is a human being. All you're doing right now is to show how cruel you are. You lost the argument because you believe that a woman can have an abortion at any stage, and that's why you have to agree that he's a human being.
Well, I very much believe that it does affect other people. It affects the fetus who really had no say in that, and we believe that if it is in fact life, and life is valuable no matter where it is.
If it is life and not a human being, and life has value no matter where they are, then even cancer is life, everything is life. Change your form of speech. The problem starts from the name, pro-life. You are not pro-life, you are against abortion.
The valuable life inside of her has just as much of a right to life as she does, and her right to act, her right to slam her arm across stops at Emma's face.
Again, if this is the way you go, then her right to smoke and drink or anything else stops when it can harm the fetus, so we can control everything in her life as long as she is pregnant.
But wouldn't you agree that you think that your child should have the highest quality of life, and if you can control that, that would be more beneficial to the child? If a woman doesn't feel that she's prepared or ready to bring a child into the world under the best circumstances that she absolutely can, do you think that she's doing the child, the fetus, the living thing?
You can't do it anymore. All this time, you agreed that he is alive, and without giving any explanation suddenly it's in quotation marks.
A favor, or is she doing it a disservice, knowing that she can't provide, knowing that she can't give them the highest quality of life that she can?
So the question is, whether a mother can kill her child if she is poor, if she does not have the opportunity to give him the life she thinks he deserves. Because if she can kill him, then she can do it every step of his life when she decides it's not the life she wants for him. And again, you have not heard about giving your child for adoption?
Okay, so if I could retort retort with a question, I would say to use of someone who has really severe Down syndrome or really severe cerebral palsy is going to have a very, in our standard, low quality of life. Wouldn't it be in our best interest just to kill them so that they don't have to experience all the suffering of living with that ailment and disease? Is it really fair to take that instance just because it's an embryo? Because if we do that, then we have to stretch that out to anyone who has what we consider a lesser quality of life, and that changes.
I'm not saying that I don't consider somebody with Down syndrome like a lesser quality of life.
But that is the whole point. It is not what you value, it is what the mother value. Her body her choice, her life her choice.
How do we have a standard definition for the quality of life that we can apply across the board? Because it can change based on your society, based on your religion, based on your circumstances, based on your personhood. So it's very hard to apply that across the board.
Right, and here comes freedom, freedom to choose, freedom to do, and of course also the responsibility to pay for freedom. But it is forbidden to let the state decide what your freedom is.
Right, but how do you speak for a child who can't speak for themselves? How can you advocate for a child? And
It's a human being, so we believe it deserves the best chance it can get.
I think it's important to make that distinction now, and we're going to switch topics real quickly. So the next topic is going to be about the laws that are happening in North Carolina and the laws that have changed recently. So this year it became mandatory for doctors to send sonograms to the state database of all women that want to have abortion services. And last year it was mandatory that women who want abortion services are required to go through counseling to discourage them to undergo this process. So I guess I would start with Ratio Christie and ask, do these laws violate women's rights in any way?
I would say that these laws in no way violate women's rights, and I would like to kind of explain that. The sonogram laws, it is done solely to hold the abortion clinics and the abortion industry accountable for what they do.
A doctor does not send a photograph of your cancer to the state. This law comes to give control to the state and nothing else.
The name of the patient, the social security number of the patient, none of that is included on these reports. It's a confidentiality thing. Basically, it's done to hold them accountable, so in no way in that area are women's rights being oppressed in any way. The counseling thing, to me, makes sense because I believe as a woman and all other women, they should be informed on their decisions, and being informed is different than trying to change their mind. So having all the options available and reading the laws, I don't necessarily know that their purpose is trying to change their mind. I think it is just trying to make sure that they are well aware of all sides of the issues. You look at the statistics for abortions, and unfortunately a lot of abortions, people that seek those abortions are from lower income, lower education families, and so while they may be vaguely aware of resources available to them, having things mentioned more specifically may enable them to make other decisions. If it doesn't, then so be it. But
wait a minute, do you now say it's okay for her to have an abortion?
at least they have the full picture of information. So in order to be able to make their decision in the best frame of mind, whatever decision they make, at least they will have all the information and all the facts. And so I don't think that in any way having information and having facts is oppressive, because it's information and the person that hears that information can choose to do with it as they wish.
What would you say, FSA? Becky,
well, I think that the laws that North Carolina specifically has passed have been put in place to limit the number of abortions.
The question is not whether the laws come in order to reduce the amount of abortion, but rather do they violate the woman's right to abortion. You seem to care only about the number of abortion and not the choice.
The waiting period is put in place to make it harder for people who don't have 3 days to set aside for getting an abortion.
What? Are you serious? Women can make time for a hairdresser but not for an abortion? I know you're talking about those in the lower class of money, but it's simply patronizing, and shows what you really think about these women.
The sending pictures of your fetus to government officials makes no logical sense to me. Government officials are not doctors. I don't know why they need to be looking at pictures of a fetus to make sure it's at 16 weeks or whatever. And also, I was looking at North Carolina specifically, what information that they are supposed to be giving out in this counseling, and they do, the information that was listed on the website I was looking at, the Guttmacher Institute, They list only negative mental health outcomes that you might have from getting an abortion and other things that would just kind of discourage a woman from wanting to get it instead of all the facts. And all the facts would include that an abortion is actually one of the safest medical procedures around.
It does not matter if it is safe. Every doctor will tell you that it is better not to do surgery if there are other ways. Besides that, you will not be pregnant anymore. There is nothing good about it. It does not give you anything you do not have in life. It just takes out something that you do not want in your life now.
And so I don't think that it is anything to discourage abortion. Medical assistance benefits may be available for prenatal care, childbirth, neonatal care. Person may be eligible for public assistance programs. The father is liable to assist in child support. The woman has other alternatives to abortion, including adoption. The woman has the right to review printed materials on the state's website. That does not mean they have to review those printed materials. The woman is free to withhold or withdraw her consent to the abortion, so that to me seems fair. So I don't necessarily think that this is slanted against having an abortion. Again, I think this is just making sure that all women are well informed of their assets and of their rights before this abortion takes place. And to me, as a woman, I find it a little bit offensive, and I'm not saying you said this, I'm saying some of the general public who has not maybe looked at this as much. I find it offensive that the public is so upset that women's minds will be changed so much by this information, because to me, women are intelligent enough, smart enough, and strong-willed enough to be able to stick to their decision regardless of what information is printed. So if a woman comes in and feels for her that the abortion is the best option, then I don't think listening to a 5-minute speech and looking at a pamphlet is going to be able to change her mind, because I believe that woman is smart enough, intelligent enough, and sound enough to be able to stick to her decision.
But why do we need the 5-minute speech when, as you said, the woman is going to stick to her guns and make her own decision anyway?
It does not matter if it is safe. Every doctor will tell you that it is better not to do surgery if there are other ways. Besides that, you will not be pregnant anymore. There is nothing good about it. It does not give you anything you do not have in life. It just takes out something that you do not want in your life now.
Why are we wasting taxpayers' money on this program whenever, as you said, the woman's going to make her own decision?
Because not every woman who gets there really knows all her options. The real question is why you do not want women to know all their options. Are you in favor of choice for a woman, or favor for an abortion no matter what?
Because
why is it relevant that a government lawmaker who has no connection to this woman has to see the picture of her sonogram to give her a yes or no on something that's going to primarily affect her life?
They do not. This is just another way to take control of something that is not in their duty.
Good question, but that to me, that's the difference between being informed and changing your mind. All of the things you just mentioned were part of what encompasses being informed. That does not necessarily mean you're going to change your mind. They have smoking laws, smoking pictures, the stuff you see, and when you're going through your PE health classes about the black lung and stuff, to inform people about the effects of smoking. But that does not necessarily mean everybody changes their mind and stops smoking. Same thing with some of the programs they put out about alcohol.
But your medical practitioner can inform you on the risks and benefits as well. So why do we need a law telling you?
Because most of them think only about money. Why should a doctor legally have to warn you about what the bad things in the medicine he gives you? Because he makes money for it, and so you cannot trust that all doctors will warn all people.
Not all medical practitioners do that, and this way it's uniform across the board. No matter where the woman goes to get care, everybody has to be fair and everybody has to follow the
That's what's supposed to happen.
Exactly.
Are you listening to yourself? Supposed to happen does not mean it happens.
Well, there's now a standard of accountability, and the reason that it's not happening is because there was not a standard of accountability. So we're just saying, you're right, it should be happening that way, and this is how it's going to happen, is we're going to give them a standard to keep them accountable. And again, the women are not at risk because their social security, any information, even their name, is not on the sonogram. This is merely to make sure that what's being preached is being practiced.
I'm sorry, no I'm not. It has nothing to do with it. You do not need the picture to make sure the doctor does his job. You only need more severe punishments.
Yes.
But it's a completely biased therapy
Yeah,
session.
how is it biased?
It only talks about the risk of abortion. It doesn't benefit It doesn't talk about the benefits to the woman, it's herself.
Again, there is nothing you get from it except to get rid of the fetus, which is something they already know. You're going back to the same point all the time. It's not surgery to take out cancer that you get from it, health, etc. It's just surgery to take out something you do not want.
So in the case of national laws, we all know the famous cases that have made abortion legal for women in this country. We also know that state governments around the country have been defunding Planned Parenthood recently in a lot of ways. And it's a strong movement that's actually happened here in North Carolina and nationally even. I guess I just want to start and ask, Horatio Christie, do you think that they should defund Planned Parenthood here in North Carolina even more, or completely, or nationally completely?
If it is your body, your choice, your life, your choice, then you have to pay for it. If you pay for lap dance, the girl cannot take the money and then tell you my body is my choice. If the state pays, then the state has a right to tell you what to do, or the state has no right to tell you what to do, and therefore the state does not have to pay.
I do think that they should defund Planned Parenthood. I think if any other nonprofit who was under the same allegations as Planned Parenthood is now under, they would immediately be losing all of their funding, because it would only make sense that malpractice leads to a loss of funding.
Do you think that them losing funding would hurt the overall goal of baby health in general?
Not at all, not at all, because not only
of prenatal vitamins and things like that are proven to prevent miscarriage?
Excuse me, you talk as if they are the only ones who do it, and again, her body, her choice, then it's her responsibility to pay.
Not at all, not at all, and a couple of reasons for that. The first is because Planned Parenthood, while it is funded through the government, it is also can be privately funded, so it's not like it is just going to go away if it is defunded publicly. Also, for every Planned Parenthood in the U.S., there are 13,540 other low-cost healthcare alternatives. In North Carolina, there's 294 other low-cost healthcare alternatives and 9 Planned Parenthoods. So to say that getting rid of Planned Parenthood is going to take away all options for women is just completely false. Statistically, there are so many other options that even if Planned Parenthood was not privately funded and ceased to exist, there would be no impact in a negative way on women's health, on women's care, and so on. And so I think it's
Do you have a response to that?
And the main thing is, we do not have to pay for something we do not want and that we have no control over. It's called extortion.
FSA? About Planned Parenthood being defunded but have no impact on women's health?
Well, I know that the reasons they want to defund Planned Parenthood are abortion related, and no federal funding goes to abortions anyway, and it's only 3% of their services. So there is a lot of services that they provide to a lot of people that a lot of people have been counting on for decades, like STD testing, pregnancy testing, cancer testing. A lot of services for both men and women that people rely on these services, and people are saying that they do not want these services to be taken away. I think that these people should be listened to by their government officials.
This is another one of the points everyone is talking about, but again, either you want the state to intervene in your life, so the state also has to finance what you need, or you want the state not to interfere in your life, so the state does not have to finance anything. The reason there are so many problems, this is because both sides want the state to intervene in certain things and not in other things, but it is impractical in anything controlled by people.
Okay, well, so in response to that, a couple things. The 3% statistic has actually been knocked out as a useless statistic. I was looking it up the other night. It's been blown up with a couple of, they use numbers in the incorrect way, so they use like levels to make it seem like less than it is. What we do know with actual numbers is that Planned Parenthood has performed 327,653 abortions in 2013, which is on dime of the U.S. taxpayer, to a staggering $54 million in an entire year, and that's about $1,500 per dead baby per day.
So we can't argue about facts here, right? Like, so she's saying that they don't nationally fund it, and you're saying that they do.
I'm saying that it does go
so
through.
you're saying that it
as
does.
a nonprofit that is
but
actually getting.
There's a fact that's true here, and it's one of them. It's not. I mean, I'm not saying so.
Well, a couple other things on that to finish that out. So they are getting federally funded, and they're actually making an income of millions of dollars a year, which doesn't happen with a nonprofit. So to say it's completely nonprofit and doing things in the most charitable heart, I don't agree with. I do think that it is an abortion business.
So is there any situation, FSA, where you guys think that abortion should be okay? I mean, under all situations, right? Or under any situation would it not be okay?
I think a woman has the right to choose. So liberally, yes, under all situations. But my personal beliefs, I don't think are relevant. I mean, would I personally get one? No. Should I think you should have the choice to? Yes.
You should have the option to choose, but first of all, let's talk about it in the right way. When the brain is completely formed, he is feeling pain, so it is killing. It is not murder because that is life inside the woman and not outside. Let's do it so when the brain does not completely form, make a normal abortion. As soon as the brain completely form, take the fetus out the same way you do a birth and do everything possible for it to live. Then whether it will live or not, it was natural, and for you did abortion.
Yeah, I was personally I still consider myself personally pro-life, and I was adamantly pro-life for a very long time until I kind of after actually attending a March for Life, I kind of changed my mind, because I just think that it's just not my choice. It's not happening to me. Even if I never get an abortion, it's still the constitutional right for that woman to get an abortion. And it's something that's been a constitutional right since 1973.
Again, change the way you speak. It's not pro-life or pro-choice, it's pro-abortion or against abortion.
I have two questions for you, if you don't mind. The first one is, why wouldn't you get an abortion if it's not morally wrong? Why does it matter if you get one or not?
It's a personal choice. Keyword is choice.
And the second word is responsibility.
I mean, I think that I'm in a place of my life where I do have a supportive family. I do have income. I do have all the resources to take care of a child and give them a good quality of life.
Again, adoption.
But you don't think it's morally wrong?
It's not up to me.
Morally, depends on the person, where he lives and what he believes in. According to the Bible, it is not moral to hold a person alive forcibly, like any respirator machinery, etc. The Bible says that if a person in bed is going to die and the only reason he does not go is because someone plays a tune he loves, you have to go out and ask him to stop playing. So what's more moral? Keep playing and keep him alive even if he is in pain, or ask the person to stop so he will die.
Contraception is also something that's brought up in debates like this because it's usually about preventing pregnancy. Planned Parenthood provides contraception. That's one of the things they do provide to many women all over the country.
If you cannot pay for your pills, then do not have sex. If you're in serious relationship, the guy can help, and besides there's the morning after pill and the condoms, so it's not a real argument.
I guess, Ratio Christie, I kind of wanted to know, do you think that Plan B and the day after pill or contraception should be treated the same across the board because it prevents life from happening?
Absolutely not. As a Christian woman, I actually do very much agree with the fact that we should have birth control and contraception. I think that's a great way that we can use science to aid us, and that if a woman who really doesn't want to have a baby, like me, who's about to get married and really doesn't want to have a baby for a while, can protect myself, and so that way I'm in a good situation to provide for my child.
It is true. According to the Bible, there is nothing that says that it is forbidden to do this, but there is also nothing that prohibits abortion in the Bible as well.
However, I do not agree with the Plan B pill. I do not think it's the same as contraceptive. I think that there's a reasonable doubt, and we can.
This is one of the problems. The two sides exaggerate in both directions. It does not count as a person, and as I said, life is also the sperm alone and the egg alone. They live, so we must not do anything that kills them.
What is it about Plan B then?
Well, Plan B, there is like I said, a reasonable doubt. So we know that the zygote is formed from the sperm and the egg coming together, and then they move into the womb and they implant, and it begins to grow. So there's an implantation and then a growth that occurs. Because Plan B is taken up to 72 hours and passed after a sexual encounter of any kind, you do not know at what stage that has happened or how far it has progressed.
It does not matter. As you say, you do not call it a human being. The sperm is alive and so is the egg. So either you are against killing life, and then cancer also alive, or you are against killing a human being, and then you have to determine when it is a human being.
So because there is a reasonable doubt and because science has not given us a clear...
But it's the exact same thing as birth control.
I mean, what if your birth,
chemically it is,
what
'cause
if,
I'm a biochemist. I mean,
what
that's
if
my,
your birth control is ineffective?
Then that's a risk that has to be taken, and
Plan B is the exact same thing as birth control. Chemically, it's the exact same thing. It just prevents implementation. If you're on birth control or if you're on Plan B, it prevents implementation. That's the thing.
Well, and to argue that,
Levestragel
there
is the name of the drug.
There could have been an implantation with Plan B that wouldn't have happened with birth control either way.
But-
so the implantation
I'm not
is
arguing
a key
science
factor.
here.
So that's why I'm saying I disagree
it
with it
is
until
the
science
same
comes
thing.
with a more
Science.
conclusive way.
But it is the same thing.
Right here.
But it's not.
Are you crazy?
It was actually something to kill the fetus.
Which is what we, yes, we would
But
say that.
Plan B does not, because there is no implementation. There is no.
Yeah, but we say that because there's a chance of implementation being expelled, we want to err on the side of
There's
caution.
also a chance on birth control
Your birth
because it's
control
the
can
exact
be
same thing.
Ineffective.
Because it's the
Yeah.
exact same thing. It's only 99% effective because it's the exact same thing as
Where
Plan
it
B.
still might stick.
But it's still a percent.
You're ruining your whole position and showing what you really believe. You're not just against abortion, you do not believe in sex outside of marriage. That is why I first asked why they brought religion to this subject. Just for your information, there is no such thing as a wedding in the Bible.
I mean, so you think the abortion pill is immoral then?
Yes.
Right, and you guys do not because it's just another form of birth control.
Well, yes, it's not like a form of like preventive birth control, but birth control in the sense that it's controlling birth.
You know, there's a big thing in the news now about the Zika virus, and it's a big thing. You know, there could be potentially, the WHO predicts about 4 million women could be infected potentially and have children with this microcephaly. Should they be allowed to seek abortion services? I mean, not to say that this might just ruin countries, ruin entire regions of the world, but I don't know.
I think that goes back to a little bit on quality of life and also what is the unborn, and since we believe the unborn is a human being that has a chance of life, until we can have 100%, and I have not read up a lot on this virus, so I don't know exactly what some of the side effects would be and exactly that type of thing for it, but you know, regardless, as with any other disease or Down syndrome or anything that a fetus might be faced with, I think that abortion is still not okay because you are still, it is still a person, and it is a person inside the womb, and so that person deserves a chance at life, even if that chance might not necessarily be what we would consider a happy, perfect life. They still deserve a chance at life, and who are we to determine, you know, why they can't or that they should not have that chance?
So again, if it's a human being, then he deserves all the rights, and we can force the mother to do or not to do what the law says about children, such cigarettes and alcohol and anything that is forbidden to the child, such as sitting in the front seat of the vehicle.
Okay. I mean, do you guys have any response to that about the whole, I mean, obviously you believe that women in these countries deserve reproductive rights in any kind of way. Do you have anything else you would like to add to that?
Well, I know that the reproductive rights situation in a lot of these countries is pretty extreme, where there's several Latin American countries that don't allow abortion under any circumstances, even if the mother has been raped. And, you know, there's been a lot of cases where, you know, it's been in the news where, like, a raped 11-year-old girl is pregnant, and, you know, it's always in the news. But I think that especially when government officials are saying that they should try to not get pregnant for the next few years when they're trying to get this virus figured out, I think that the option for contraceptive services and abortion should be opened up when they're saying we don't want any more pregnancies right now because of this virus.
First of all, rape is a very small percentage, now, because it helps you want the state to intervene? That's what I said, you're trying to hold the stick in both edges, it just gives the state more options to interfere in the lives of citizens.
Well, I guess we'll go ahead and go to closing statements. Ratio Christie, you can go first.
Okay, well, I appreciate you guys having us. We really enjoyed it. It's great to get to stretch our minds. We really just want to close out with the fact that, like we said earlier, we're feminists. We love women. We want to protect women. We want to protect women who haven't been born yet, give them the voice and the rights that they deserve that they don't have right now.
No, you do not. As I said before, rights include everything.
Feminist Student Alliance, would you guys like to say something?
Yes, as feminists, we of course respect anyone's opinion on the matter, which is why we say that we promote the choice to, like, even if we personally would never want one, or if we're personally pro-life, and also for other people to have that opinion of thinking it's wrong. it's just like your opinion, your God-given opinion. And I don't think that we're too qualified to speak on the matter, as we're not doctors, we are not OBGYNs.
Again, you are talking about abortion, is it good or bad, and that is the problem. You are not talking about whether it is a human being or not, because you do not know, and it would not matter to you because her body is her choice.
Well, thank you very much for joining us. This has been another issue of the debate series, Students on the Issues. I'm Philip Drum. Thank you very much.
Now what have we learned? Both sides want the law to tell people what to do and what not to do, but everyone wants what he believes to be the law. None of them will really stand up to what they say if you show them what the law should include with what they want. The attempt to show that religion is the only thing against abortion, and feminism is the only thing in favor of abortion, was dumb, and so I prefer to hear from people who are not connected to these two things. The two real questions are, when does the fetus feel what is happening to it? And are you for freedom or for the control of the government? Hope you've learned something and you've enjoyed. If so, you know what to do.